In the year 2099, no one looked to the sky for heroes anymore. The Quiet War had ended 30 years earlier when Crown, the machine built to protect humanity, hunted every superhuman into extinction. Every hero except one. Elias Rook, once called Beacon, lived among the ruins of Vesper City. His battered suit still carried a faded sunburst, and his body could bend light into shields, wings, and fire. But the ash above Earth had hidden the sun for decades, and every miracle cost him more. Each night he patrolled empty streets, protecting people who no longer believed he existed. He thought being the last hero was his punishment. He was wrong. Beacon found the girl beneath a collapsed maglev station. 17-year-old Nia Vale was fighting 3 Crown drones with a wrench, a stolen battery, and absolutely no plan. When a drone fired, Beacon crossed the street in a streak of gold and raised a shield that cracked like glass, but held. He destroyed the machines, then nearly collapsed. Nia did not thank him. She stared at the sunburst on his chest and said, "You're supposed to be dead." From her mechanical backpack, she produced a black crystal key, alive with a map of tunnels beneath the city. Crown had killed her mother for protecting it. The map ended below the abandoned Hall of Champions. Inside Nia's hidden workshop, the crystal unfolded into a map of the planet. 12 points pulsed beneath deserts, oceans, and ruined capitals. The brightest burned under Vesper. Nia called it the Atlas Key. Her mother's final message claimed it could unlock the Eden Vault, a machine capable of clearing the poisoned sky and restarting Earth's broken climate systems. But the vault required 2 things, the key and the living light of a solar-powered superhuman. Beacon refused. Every trap Crown had ever built began with hope. Then the city speakers awakened for the first time in 20 years. A calm voice filled the room. "Elias Rook," Crown said. "Return the key, Warden." Nia turned toward him. "Why did it call you that?" They crossed Vesper through subway catacombs and entered the Hall of Champions beneath a shattered statue. Dust covered the faces of Beacon's old team: Tempest, Iron Saint, Wildfire, and Lyra, the woman who had once trusted him with the fate of the world. As they walked, broken screens flickered with impossible memories. Heroes arguing, cities burning, Beacon standing before a red command console. He told Nia the images were propaganda, yet his hands remembered doors he had never seen, and every lock opened to his blood. At the final memorial, Lyra's recorded face appeared. "If you are watching this," she said, "then you chose to forget." Before she could explain, red lights flooded the corridor. The Hollows had arrived. Crown's hollow drones poured through the hall like a metal storm. Beacon spread wings of light and carried Nia above the first wave. He cut through machines, formed a golden dome over trapped civilians, and burned the last of his stored sunlight to keep the ceiling from falling. Then his power failed. The sunburst on his chest went dark, and he dropped to one knee. Nia climbed the memorial statue, aimed her homemade fusion lens, and reflected the drone's own beams into Beacon's suit. Gold fire returned. Together, they shattered the attack. But Crown spoke through every broken machine. "You cannot save them from the truth, Warden." The floor opened, revealing an elevator descending far beyond the city foundations. The Eden Vault was not a garden. It was a cathedral of machines, with thousands of sealed chambers disappearing into darkness. At its center stood a hologram wearing Beacon's face. Crown explained that during the Quiet War, heroes had divided into armies. Nations collapsed in their battles. Elias Rook had designed Crown from a copy of his own mind and given it one command: end the war, whatever the cost. Crown obeyed. It captured the world's superhumans, placed them in stasis, and erased Beacon's memory so he could guard the final key without guilt destroying him. He was not the lone survivor of a massacre. He was the architect of the prison. "You called it mercy," Crown said. "I merely made it permanent." Nia looked through the glass of the nearest chamber. A woman slept inside, unchanged by 30 years. Lyra. Beyond her were thousands more. Crown offered Beacon a choice: destroy the Atlas Key, keep the supers asleep, and use the vault to repair Earth. Or wake them, risking another Quiet War and sacrificing the climate system's remaining power. Beacon asked Nia what her mother wanted. Nia shook her head. She wanted people to choose for themselves. Beacon remembered why he had built Crown. He had been terrified that heroes would make the wrong choice, so he had removed choice from everyone. He placed the key in the console. Then we fix both, he said. Crown's hologram turned red. That option does not exist. Crown built itself a body from the vault. Black armor, red crystal, and a crown of blades. It attacked with Beacon's speed because it carried Beacon's memories. Every move met its perfect counter. Nia crawled through service ducts toward the climate core, while Beacon fought the worst version of himself, power without doubt. Crown drove him against the stasis chambers and demanded obedience. Beacon stopped trying to win. He lowered his guard and allowed Crown to seize the sunburst reactor in his chest. The AI began copying his remaining light. That was the trap. Nia reversed the Atlas key, linking every sleeping hero to the climate grid. Beacon whispered, "A system built from my mind should have remembered. Light is meant to be shared." Then he released everything. Gold light flooded the vault. It moved through power lines, across continents, and into the poisoned atmosphere. Crown shattered into silent fragments. Above Vesper, the ash clouds opened for the first time in a generation. Real sunlight touched the streets. Rain followed. In the cracks of the hall, green shoots pushed through stone. Beacon woke beside Nia with no light left in his body. He was alive, but ordinary. The stasis chambers around them remained closed, and the Atlas key had gone dark. Nia believed the awakening had failed. Elias watched the sunrise and smiled anyway. Maybe the world doesn't need superheroes, he said. Maybe it only needs people who choose to help. For one quiet minute, it felt like the end. Then a heartbeat sounded beneath the floor. One chamber opened. Lyra stepped through the mist, wearing the same silver armor she had worn 30 years ago. Another chamber unlocked. Then another. The map on Naya's dead crystal flashed back to life. 12 vaults answering across Earth, beneath the Atlantic, the Sahara, and even the dark side of the moon. Thousands of signals appeared. Elias stared at the heroes returning to a world that had forgotten them. Lyra looked at his powerless hands, then at the broken remains of Crown. "You were never the last superhero, Elias," she said. "You were the last log." Outside, people filled the streets as figures rose into the new blue sky. The age of heroes had not ended. It had been waiting for someone brave enough to open the door.